Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast. Harvey, Levin here.
Jaime here.
And Derek here.
So, Olivia Wilde. Mm-hmm. If this is true, the nanny is saying that Olivia got rid of her dog, Gordon, so that she could travel with Harry Styles.
No time to walk the dog when you got a young rock star boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this isn't true.
Does this sound monstrous to you now?
First of all, and this dog, how long did she have this dog?
Oh, I don't know when they exactly got it, but it's
we
your
know
responsibility to care for a dog through its life.
Well, no, I'm asking it because it's an additional layer. But how long? This was a big dog, so this was a recent rescue, which I don't think it was, or this dog was with the family for a while, right?
Well, I do know that Jason was not a dog guy, so this was pretty much her dog. So it was her choice to get rid of it because he certainly wasn't going to watch the dog while she's making love with Harry Styles.
Well, it's your family dog, though. While they live together as a family, everyone has to care for the dog, and now she wants to dump it because she got a boyfriend? This is starting to show her character more, I think, this element of the story. Is that why you're troubled by it?
I'm troubled because I'm big into animal rescue.
Yeah.
And I have seen, like in one of the organizations that I support, that people they just do horrible things with these animals. And also, when an animal is attached to somebody and then all of a sudden they get thrown in a cage again, it's really bad.
But let's be fair. We don't know that Olivia
and it may not be a cage.
to the pound and dropped off this dog.
I get
I'm
it.
sure she gave it a home.
I get it.
He finds this more troubling than her nearly running over Jason Sudeikis as he tries to block her from leaving with salad dressing. This is more troubling to you.
Well, I think they're both wacko for that.
You know what
okay,
else
I think they're both crazy for that.
Here's what else is wacko.
I mean, is there a side on that? Somebody lays in front of in back of the car, and the other person. I mean, it's wacko.
Yeah.
What I think is gross is...
If it's true, again.
Oh, it's...
Correct, although Gennaro is now sort of doubling down, that's the former nanny, is doubling down on her claims, even though Jason and Olivia have a united front calling her a liar. And I think that says something, right? She's saying, look, I've got some receipts as well. She talks about a text message she got directly from Jason Sudeikis calling Olivia a hot mess or something like that.
Something like that. But here's what Olivia put her own foot in her mouth. So they had a united statement saying, this is all nonsense, blah, blah, blah. Last night, Olivia got a little trolley and dropped a salad recipe on her Instagram.
What do you make of that? Leaning into the controversy of her leaving with...
That is confirming the salad story from the nanny, you dum-dum. Why would you do that?
No context. It's almost like she's enjoying the drama of this because she posts this as sort of a joke. It's an excerpt from a book.
You know who's loving this right now?
Who does that?
You know who's just loving this?
I don't know.
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, yeah.
He does.
He
Absolutely.
is loving this right now.
He's eating salad
This
for
is
dinner.
revealing her character. He's like, I'm clean on this. Look at this woman. She's crazy.
I mean, when you think about it, it's like salad dressing and all these crazy things are painting this picture of this insane...
It's so strange to see her sort of implode in this way, too, because she is one of the rising stars in the directing game. After Booksmart, true, Don't Worry, Darling has been a bit of a disaster, but she's considered a huge talent who is on the rise. And now getting bogged down in all this tawdry stuff about her relationship.
Well, and also what Jaime just said,
said.
the fact that she's posting the
posting
salad
that,
dressing,
you're
saying it's
confirming
true.
the story.
It's her and Harry lying in bed thinking this is funny.
After a couple
right?
glasses of wine, 1,000
Which is crazy
So
because it's
Jaime,
hurtful to...
and we're going to move on. I have a serious question.
I have it if you...
No. I have a serious question for you. What is fascinating you more? Olivia Wilde seemingly going off the rails with all of this, or wanting to try this specific recipe?
They're both. All the above. I have the recipe right here. It's got Dijon mustard.
I know.
vinaigrette,
I've done a version of that, but now I'm thinking...
Olivia, what is fascinating to me is it seems like she's throwing it all away for a summer romance. They're not going to get married. Harry Styles is not going to stick around. I'm sorry to be stereotypical. She's going to be gone by Christmas, and she's thrown her career, her family.
Well, I don't think she's thrown her career
not
away.
Can I say
great.
it's a pretty basic salad dressing? This isn't like an exotic green goddess dressing.
Well, if it wasn't
vinegar and
like
Hold on.
you've ever cooked
emulsified.
with shallots,
Wait a minute.
right?
So you're saying that if it was a better salad dressing, it would make more sense for her to do this?
It might be worth it. It might be worth
God.
it at some
Okay,
point.
guys, let's move on.
All right.
Okay, something else.
Tom.
This pisses me off. No, it doesn't piss me off for Tom. What pisses me off is the critics on this.
Okay.
Here's what Tom Brady said, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but now it's catching fire. This is what he said about football and focus.
I almost look at like a football season like you're going away on deployment in the military.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, here I go again. And there's only one way to do it. And I think, Jim, we've talked from time to time just about how do you enjoy the certain moments of it, you know? And the reality is you can really only be authentic to yourself, right?
Mhm.
Whatever you may say, oh man, I want to, make sure I spend a little more time doing this, during the season.
Yeah.
The reality is when it comes down to it, your competitiveness takes over. And as much as you want to have this playful balance with the work balance, you're going to end up doing exactly what you've always done, which is why you are who you are. You're going to go, how the do I get it done?
Okay,
Go ahead.
I'm
Your spirited defense of Tom
tell us
Brady
why
and
you
his,
love
I am
this.
I'm
and
so
his military metaphors. Go ahead.
I am really triggered by this. It's like he used a metaphor, okay? It's not a big deal. I was watching cable news this morning when I was working out. It was absurd. They were talking about Tom Brady makes $25 million a year. Who cares how much money he makes? What if there's somebody in the military who makes $25 million and they wanted to serve? It's like, okay, I was in the military.
Yes.
I was in the reserves, okay? I didn't fight in a war. So maybe I've got a little bit of a dog in the fight, and I shouldn't say I fought in a war because I didn't fight in a war, even though a war was going on. And
you still served. I mean,
Yeah, but
I'm not-
regardless,
I'm not gonna
no
make fun of you for that,
no
yeah.
one under questions your service.
it doesn't bother
But
me
here's-
look, he didn't say I'm going to war, number one. You can be deployed without going to war. That's number one.
Oh,
That's true. Look, he is
and
talking
number-
about the
and-
isolation of the deployment
but
away from your family.
This
I think, but-
is what is driving insane candidates to get support, because people are, and I'm not justifying it, because I think Herschel Walker's crazy. I mean, I think anybody who's voting for him, I don't know, 80% of the people voting for him have got to know he's crazy, but they're doing it anyway. And, and again, I'm sorry, I'm quoting Bill Maher again. He was talking about this, and I think he's right.
we should have a portrait of Bill Maher. Just
Oh.
William Maher
No,
portrait.
guys, I think
No,
he,
I'm with you.
I think he's right that people are so sick of this, this eggshell skull kind of way of living our lives, that you're so worried about offending one person over here or one person. It's like,
that you create
so
these monsters who are
what?
horrifically
Listen,
offensive.
So what?
I
He
hear you.
used a deployment
I hear
metaphor.
you.
Who cares?
Well, I hear
We'll
you,
hear
and
what
I
you-
agree. However, I did not get any reaction. I wasn't offended. I am not a vet, so I really can't speak to that. But he is not a young rookie. He knows better. He's been in the game for years. He has more media training than anybody on the planet. He knows better. Just don't
What do you
do
mean?
it.
Why?
Because
So
it's
there
going
is a
to
point to
No,
that,
hold
that
on.
he walked into something
I
that he
love-
could have avoided.
I love that he did it, because I'm sick of. I'm sorry. I am so sick of people looking for any word that is offensive to whoever abstractly. It's not offensive for him to use a military metaphor.
But then I want you to
It's,
keep that opinion
it's-
when Gwyneth Paltrow compared herself to a war vet years ago, and I doubt that you would let her off the hook.
Well, it depends.
Ah.
I'll tell you something. If
Keep that same energy.
if it's a metaphor that doesn't work, then you call it out. But if it's a metaphor that works, fine. I'm not against using the metaphor. What I'm against is if the metaphor doesn't make sense. In this case, all he's saying is that when you go on, when you're deployed, you've got to keep your focus. You've got, and he used a metaphor.
Yes.
That's what a metaphor is. It doesn't mean you're saying I went to war or I was deployed. It means it's equivalent to that kind of concept.
I don't like jumping down people's throats for minor transgressions.
But
like
that's what this
either,
is.
And I think
but
you
that's
create
what this
monsters
is.
when you do
and
that.
Jaime, you're saying he just shouldn't say it. Why?
Because you know that you're going to stir the pot. People are not going to change
Screw
their
that.
opinions.
I mean, it's like screw the 3,000 crazy people on Twitter who complain about
3,000 crazy veterans who are offended?
No, okay, well, no. And there may be
What if there are veterans who are offended?
there may be veterans who are offended.
But
And
eggshell veterans, huh?
no, but do
It's hard, right?
no. How many veterans are there?
What?
Many, many thousands.
No, more than thousands. There are
Millions?
millions of
Sure.
veterans. Okay, and so if there are 500 that are offended, it's like that's what we're living in right now. Is that you've got to worry about, is there a group that is upset. You can't do it. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And it's like at a point, that's why people are walking on eggshells and they're sick of it.
And you're saying it creates these monsters who are horrifically offensive in very real and profound ways.
I am.
Because everyone is just sick of the eggshell walking. So you get the Herschel Walkers who will say atrocious things.
Atrocious things.
Because they're a response to, like, you namby-pambies worrying about every minor metaphor that's used.
And people
We're just going to go far farther.
Why do you think people are connecting to this?
I think that's right. I think there's some truth to that. I do. I think there's some truth that you create worse monsters when you have everyone walk on eggshells. You don't see that connection.
I do, but I just think Tom Brady is one of the most famous men on earth. You have a responsibility to just not
I like
stir the pot.
I like his metaphor. I think I because his focus is almost military. Like, look, when
You were in the military. It's hard for Jaime and I to defend his metaphor because we didn't serve. So if I say he's allowed to say whatever you want, you as a military veteran could say, how dare you?
No.
You didn't serve. That's the concern.
You know what? I'll get you a throw pillow with that saying. You can put it on your bed, okay?
You're not taking me seriously.
Live,
What-
laugh, love.
You're not
we
the
do,
first.
but
You're
you
not
get to
the
speak
first.
more boldly about this. You see why?
Yes.
Because you're a veteran.
I'm talking more broadly than just
Oh,
this.
I agree. It's hard to be in a
I'm
snowflake
talking
culture.
more
We are.
But I know, but it's like, do we want to get out or do we want to surrender to
I
it?
don't know.
I know.
Yeah, you're fighting. You're fighting against the dying
I'm
of a
sick
life.
of it.
I'm
I'm
with you.
sick of it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you can't that you can't draw lines, because you should draw lines. And there are lines.
Yes,
But-
that's where the difficulty comes in.
No, it's not. The difficulty is that when you narrow these lines so much, you can't figure out what's important anymore and what's not. I think it's the opposite. I think when you have these narrow lines that you basically can't say anything, the broad lines get more blurred.
Yeah.
And that those are the lines you should really care about.
Yeah, we lose track of focusing our priorities, but it's hard. It's hard to draw the lines. It's hard, Arv.
Did I move the
care
needle
about-
with you guys a little bit?
Yeah.
It's inched over.
Okay. Balthazar or Meghan Markle, you call.
Oh, well.
We'll do both. But
Let's
wait.
do. Okay, I'll start off with Meghan Markle. So Derek and I talked a little bit about this yesterday, but I know that you have your own feels, Harv. So Meghan Markle spoke out and talked about her time on Deal or No Deal, that she worked as a briefcase girl during season 2. And she says that it made her feel like basically a bimbo, that she was there for her looks, and she didn't feel good about herself. So she quit, and people are going after the Markle, as they do.
Including Claudia Jordan, another briefcase girl.
Another briefcase girl.
It's a briefcase model, and I use the word very intentionally. That's what the damn job was.
Models are there for looks, not for brains.
Sports
Yes.
Illustrated has models. Men's Health has models.
Yes.
Gigi Hadid is a model. The people on that show are models.
And here is where
but hold on, can I?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm just gonna make my and then you tear it apart.
Okay.
Get ready.
She went on season 2. She knew the game. She's a incredibly smart person. She is incredibly
Went
smart.
to Northwestern, yes.
But not just there are people
Worked
who went
for
to
the
Nor-
embassy,
Yes.
studied international
She
relations.
is a
No one's taking that away
really,
from her.
really, really smart person. And as such, when you know what the show is, and you know all you're doing is wearing a tight dress, smiling, and opening a briefcase, you get the gig. It's like a runway model, kind of. And so I get it. And if it made her feel that way, I get it. But I think what she was doing in the process, she was saying, and there were other smart women there too, and it was almost like the producers didn't want to hear about that. Well, yeah, because that wasn't the job. When Gigi Hadid is walking down a runway, I don't want to hear her do Shakespeare.
Well,
it's,
and no one, and to your point, no one is saying that the women holding the briefcases aren't smart.
And I
but the
think-
role is not
but
to be
you guys
smart.
are-
That's the gig.
It's not to play into
you
That's
guys
the
are
gig.
reading. You guys are reading into that comment she made too deeply. She didn't mean it like that. I think she's saying that is basically to defend so she doesn't look like she's calling the other women bimbos. She said in a blanket statement, there were lots of other smart women around me, but it wasn't about that. So here's my defense. So you're saying season 2, she knows, blah, blah, blah. Very smart girl, graduated. She also was a theater major, wanted to get into the entertainment industry. This was the first job she booked. And as somebody who used to be an actor in this town, you take what you can get. She got into the union, she got insurance, she got a paycheck, she got to be on NBC.
Right.
So she shows up for the gig, and it doesn't make her feel good. And she
Then
didn't
don't be an
say,
ingrate.
Stop. She didn't say that she didn't say that.
didn't she say that that the other girls are smart, but the producers didn't care about that side of it?
She said that there were a lot of other smart women around me, but it wasn't about that. So she didn't ever bring up the producers.
Well, by the way, we knew it wasn't.
Is she shading the women
We
who,
knew-
who
so
stayed and
that's
held
purposely
briefcases?
why she said that.
I can
that
tell
they were
you,
smart. They're not
no,
bimbos.
I can tell you, they are. Some of them are offended because
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Well,
Because she's
wait,
saying, "I left."
wait. You just said, of course they are.
Yes.
So then it was obvious what Meghan was saying.
She was speaking
why
to
are
her
why are the
own
other models?
experience.
Why are the other models offended?
Because she said that she felt like a bimbo, which
Right.
would
So
make
she's
them
making
bimbos.
she's making it sound like anyone who would stay is okay with being
A bimbo.
a bimbo. That's the problem with what Meghan Markle is saying. She's saying there are a lot of other women around. This isn't for me. I'm a smart woman. But if you stick around,
You're
you
a
must
bimbo.
be a
She did
bimbo. So
not-
Claudia Jordan says, "How dare you?" They
That's
didn't treat us
essentially
like
what she's
bimbos.
saying. This was a gig. This was a job, and it's like she has too many grievances. I'm sorry.
Okay,
she has
yes.
really important grievances, like really important ones. Things she talked about with racism, things she talked about with mental health. Those are really important grievances. But when you start, Kate made me cry. I didn't make her cry. I felt like a bimbo on a show where I broke into Hollywood. And it's making the other women feel like, wait a minute, are you calling me a bimbo
Yeah.
because I stayed?
And I do.
Yeah, the casting call was for silent models. Hold a briefcase.
But listen,
There was a lawyer on that show.
Yeah.
Claudia Jordan is
You've
on.
never taken a job or gone to a party or something that you thought was going to be one thing, and you showed up and you felt like
Yeah,
this is not
guess
for
what?
me.
It was. You said I thought it was one thing. She knew what it
But
was.
she didn't know how she was going to
But
feel.
that's not the same as you didn't know what it was.
She said she left because it made her feel bad, and she's listen. She's
Jamie is
allowed
saying
to
she
have.
wasn't duped, but she
She
felt
wasn't
differently
duped.
when
She
it
felt
was
differently,
Okay.
and she's allowed to feel that. What we did agree on yesterday with Meghan Markle and the problem, just because you think something,
You don't have to say
you
it.
don't have to say it out loud.
Yes.
Not everything.
That's
Every
the
time-
that's
That
the
is-
grievance
and that
part.
I will come and shake your hand on, sir. That I agree.
Her insufferability shows.
Okay, stop talking.
She's so insufferable.
Balthazar.
Oh dear.
I don't get it, man. I mean, this
Now you don't get what the owner did, right?
owners of restaurants never do what this guy did. You don't trash a celebrity who comes into a celebrity restaurant because other celebrities are going to get pissed off and think, wait a minute, if he trashed them, what if he trashes me?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to come. So to actually go out and take that step is highly, highly, highly unusual. The owner of Balthazar did because he said James Corden came in not once but twice and went nuts on the wait staff. Okay, so he did this within 24 hours, takes it back, falls all over himself.
Says he feels bad.
Talks about doing the James Corden show, and then says he feels bad about it. It's like, wait a minute, I thought you were doing this to support your wait staff that got skewered.
Right. You're saying if you
I
take
don't
the step
get it.
of doing this highly irregular thing, which is an owner going after customers usually always right. You would never air dirty laundry like this. You got to own it.
Yeah.
You got to own it, right? Right. You put that out there.
He
James
seems
Corden
he
has
seems
taken-
crazy.
Well, it seems odd. I mean, James Corden must have called him groveling, right? I mean, the only reason to pull it this way is if James Corden fell on the sword and didn't try to defend himself. And then what do you do? If James Corden comes out and says, "I'm absolutely sorry. I was an absolute monster." Should he be gracious about the apology?
I
Because
guess-
it sounds like Corden didn't try to explain it.
So what if you do this? Instead of saying he called me up, I believe in second chances, which is fine.
Yeah.
I told him I would do a show for 9 hours. I was just kidding. No, James, you're welcome back anytime. Come back in. Blah blah blah. Then it feels How about this? What James Corden did, I still believe is monstrous, terrible. But he called me and apologized. I myself have had issues with my life, and I believe in second chances, and I'm giving him one, period.
Yeah. Instead, he's
Period.
hanging his staff out to
It just
dry.
feels like he's
Feels like he's now
he's
groveling.
Yeah,
groveling
well,
now.
I'm telling you, my theory that he's a James Corden superfan stands.
No.
I'm telling you,
If he was a
something's
super fan,
weird.
he never would have done that.
It's a
No.
hell of a way to ask
Jamie,
for
Jamie,
a
he
friend.
never would have done this.
It's a hell of a way to try to get a friend.
And then he posted, I mean, I don't even think we said that he posted again last night pictures of his daughter and her friend and said, I feel weird about this situation. I mean, he did abuse my staff, but
Well, I think to Harvey's point is who wins now? So he's trashed James Corden. James Corden's not a fan of this guy airing the dirty laundry. Now he's hung his waitstaff out to dry, who he was initially defending. So he's pleased nobody. He's aired something. He's now groveling for an apology from a celebrity. Nobody's happy.
And
James
then-
Corden's not happy. The wait staff is not happy. He hasn't.
Yeah, what happens if
This guy
James
screwed
Corden
it.
goes back? Who waits on him?
Oh, there's no chance he's ever.
How do you do it? I think
going
this
back.
guy has to come out
Did-
and wait on
Did
him.
did either of you guys read Kitchen Confidential, Anthony
course.
Bourdain's book?
No.
Oh,
incredible.
it was fantastic.
One of the best memoirs ever.
And you know what happens to customers
early in
that
his career.
act up in a restaurant, right?
Not good things.
According to James's, according to
Anthony.
Bourdain's book.
Horrific things. He describes the people in the kitchen as, some of the, not worst of the worst, but sometimes vindictive and
Savage.
and savage. Yes.
They're
Just
savage.
say it, Derek. What
Yeah.
do they do?
What? They put various things in your food.
Like
I don't want to get into the gory
Different
details.
bodily fluids.
Fluids and things of that nature.
such stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All I'm saying is, if
I don't wanna think
if
about
you
that
were
stuff. Gotta go
if
to
you were
restaurants.
James Corden and you were invited back to that restaurant, Jamie, if you had read that book, would you go?
If I'm James Corden, I'm not leaving my house for 2 years going to any restaurant.
I'm only cooking things that I open with a can opener myself.
Yes.
That's it. I'm not getting takeout, nothing.
No.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.